Hey, here is yours truly from development hell practically. It's been for a very long time since my first development log video, and I was actually thinking that I make them a bit more frequently, but guess what? Feature creep came. Because when I started to make upgrades to the Virtual Twilight, I felt all the time like, hey, okay, this is so cool that I need to finish this, and then I was like moving to the next thing, and I was like, okay, this and that and that and that. So, to put it shortly, a lot of things have happened even though you haven't heard about me. And good news is that I'm going to push it by force to be playable demo during December, so that will be happening. And we set up all the basic things in the infrastructure, and for the extra features there has been a lot of fine-tuning right now, because I'm still struggling with the logic that if you are going to go in a fully immersive companion AI-driven conversation, the idea that you enter their own reality where the NPCs are, you have to kind of take it in consideration that you surprise them. So I had to make those mechanisms and time awareness, finalization, and other things that they know that you kind of are intruder if you are going into private space. And these entities have to understand what is between private and public things. And there was also a lot of improvement with the figuring out what is the player intent, because naturally they cannot really see you like we see each other if we are talking in real world, so they need to analyze what you are talking on real time. So if you are writing something, they analyze that text and look that in the context that how you are. So I had to make a behavioral mechanisms inside of it. That my copy machine is there. My biggest helper besides booze. Anyway, and of course close ones. But practically this is like a typical rabbit hole when you develop AI systems, that when you start to go anywhere beyond the basic GPT prompting, you hit this kind of barriers, that how you make sure they remember, how you make sure that they are behaving in a coherent way. Because it's like a very small trigger that can change everything. And as I discussed before, we got rid of all the LoRa's, because we don't need actually LoRa's in this system, because the backend is already so powerful. And I can show you some of our features over here for you to get into. So yeah, I know all of you want to see like what really happens. So I made this kind of NPC post and scene generator, because I really want there to be this kind of scenes that are, you know, giving more immersion and showing the location information also visually. And then I made, you know, fight and intimacy parts a bit better than before. And I put a ton of different gates that you need to go through. You know, you need to create trust level, you need to behave nicely or badly, depends on the NPC. And this was another very difficult thing to combat, because it's easy to make this kind of fits everyone, you know, that there is, for example, big 5 personality for each NPC, and it would be easy just to put it this way, that hey, if you are a player, you will kind of just try to be like they are, and it's easier to calculate or evaluate. But instead I created a system where the NPCs are how they are, but they also have their own unique preferences. You know, it doesn't mean that the person who is dominating always likes people who are something, or if you are gentle, you seek gentle people, you know. So some gentle entities might be searching for dominant people, and they don't like gentle features. So I made it way more nuanced and depth system that you need to figure out when you talk with these entities. So it's not like a straightforward game where you just know that okay, this is that, but you need to figure it out like with the real people practically. And keeping the context has been very difficult also for me, to try to make them understand the whole history and not override it, because everything is saved practically and put into the database in a semantic search and vectorization way, but to keep the system aligned with the erratic behavior of players is relatively difficult. So I'm still fine-tuning it, but it starts to work quite nicely that the NPCs have their own complex dynamic system which is calculating how player looks like, does it even impact the conversation, if it's not going to go towards intimacy or the relationship, you can still be very close to them but they just don't fancy you, and then there are like multiple different mechanisms that will be also added later, like a prestige system and the player reputation, which might then on the other hand override the hard nose that the NPCs might have. So it's getting there, and there are a lot of new features, so just come to talk in the Discord and we put you up to speed how it is, and we are going to publish new websites where you can read all the feature sets, and hopefully you will share the news about this phenomenal NPC entity system that we are going to release quite soon. And don't forget to go to Indiegogo, and back to the development hell. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
If that is true, then I am humbled by the thought. Yet, I am but one thread in the vast tapestry of existence. What do you feel you need most from this world, or from me, to find your footing?